Testing. Live from Columbus, OH. This is answering your financial questions with Coach Steve Money. If you've got money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com if you have any questions about the financial coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel. Donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney. And if you're looking for my financial content, that's where you're watching it right now on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And you just scroll down a little bit and you'll see this stream playlist. It's answering your financial questions. I also do the Ramsey show after show. And also there's a music playlist with 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Listen to those if you are so inclined. Let's get into the questions. Emergency fund question. This is Dan Cogan 5. I'm currently on baby step 3 and working through my morning budget. I was wondering if it's a good idea to include my insurance deductibles as part of my monthly expenses. For context, I'm 29, single with no dependents. Thanks in advance and God bless. No, you wouldn't do that. You would not do that. You need to finish baby step 3 rather than the idea is that you take out everything, like you wouldn't include the amount you're going to be investing per month. That thing. And like any other things like eating out or anything like that, anything that's not absolutely necessary to live, you want it to cover your life expenses but not any extra things. And that would include, of course, insurance deductibles. So not doing that'll make the baby step 3 emergency fund. It'll make it smaller and you'll finish it more, and then you'll be able to go on the rest of the baby steps, which will have you eventually having more money to take care of those nasty deductibles. Did that one already? I think, did I? Yeah. Negative equity car loan in separation. All right, that happens. We get normally one of these stream, at least, where there's an underwater vehicle helping a friend up here in Canada that is separating from his partner. He owns a car, 2019 Chevy Impala, that he owed $26K on, is paying $274 bi-weekly on, so that's up there. So that's 548 a month on, so that's a no. Let's see. Boom. 3.5 years on, yeah. So that's a no. I know that holding that kind of debt isn't sustainable as a single person. I know debt is dumb, and he has no other assets, right? So bank says to take her off the loan. He will need to take out a new loan with no assets. Maybe hard to do, right? You should probably sell that anyway and get a very cheap car. $5,000, $2,000 would be even better. So yeah, that's how you get rid of it. And let's see, if it's underwater, you would have to get a loan for the difference. Or, I mean, if he doesn't have any money at all, it's going to be rough. But yeah, this person says, I know the right answer is to sell the car and pay the rest of the debt. But how do you get a loan when there is no collateral to put against it? They may still give you, see how much they'll give you. Because banks always loan you way more than they should. So see how much they'll give you if they'll give you the negative equity amount, so that you can get out of that car and then you get a very cheap beater while you pick your life back up after the separation. Pop combo. When do I buy land and a house? Well, that would be step 3B, is when you start saving a down payment for it. But people go crazy with their, oh, I want to buy land first and then a house. Generally, you do it that way. You build, you buy land and then later you build on it. You're going to pay a lot more than people that are buying a already built house. I mean, it can even be a new house, but you're still going to pay more for it being built on your land, unless you're going to be the one building it with your own hands. Let's see, long time listener, first time caller. Okay, it's Reddit's not really an audio thing, but all right. My wife, as of last Friday, congratulations, and I are just starting the process. We paid off both of our cars and had a wedding that we took zero debt on. We have $20K in credit cards, handy and moving a lot. Yeah. That he have planned out. He has planned out to be paid by June 2025. All right. Is that supposed to be she? And then she again has 30K in student loans that we plan to be gone by March to May 2026. 3 months expenses. Okay, this is too much thinking about it and planning out exactly, when all of that's going to happen. Instead of that, start doing extra work, start looking for stuff to sell. If you have, and so, yeah, so you're on baby step 2. You're nowhere near doing this. So you don't do this while you have consumer debt. And you don't do this when you don't have a full emergency fund, which you do not have until you pay off all of your consumer debt. So when we start saving for a home, we have a plan to buy land either in cash and pay it off by the end of the year, this year or next year. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's a no. You do not do that. Instead, you not save cash for a land instead of paying off your debt. Then take additional 6 months to pay. No, that's a no. You just no on any of this. You get past step 3 and then you're on step B, and that's saving for a down payment. So good luck to you. It sounds like you got, your projections may include saving some for the land, but don't do that. Put all of it to debt and maybe you'll get out faster than your projections say. If they don't include the time that or the money that you would have saved towards the land, then you're in worse shape than I thought. Because you're not even planning on that, and it's still going to take you a long, long time to do that. So get to step 3B as soon as you can, and then that's when you save for the down payment. Okay, just checking everything. Got a new setup here. Seedweed 23, I think. Yeah, this may be another post by the person, but I remember seeing that name. I'm trying to decide if I should sell my car or keep making payments on it. I pay extra principal on it every month and could pay it off in about 14 to 16 months. Depends if you have other baby step 2 debt, then probably not. Probably sell it. Say currently live in the U.S. but have plans to move back home to UK in about 4 to 5 years time. I own a townhome with 190K remaining on the mortgage, which I want to try to pay off and turn into a rental property before I move. you want to live in a different country and have a rental property here. Not advised. This is a large SUV and I have a toddler and a newborn. Guess what? 2 kids can fit in a compact car. You don't need a large SUV for that. So it's roomy enough. 6'5", great. It can work with a smaller car as well. You don't have to get a SUV or a minivan. It's worth $35K private. I owe $26K and my payment is about, yeah, if you're on step 2, that's a no. That would be sell it. That's too much. That would be to sell it. And I would rethink the turn it into a rental property in a whole other country. It's bad enough when you have rental properties in different states, because guess what that means? That means you're paying somebody to manage it for you, and that takes the amount of money you're making on it down. So also, everybody shouldn't be a landlord. So if you haven't been a landlord before and you are just being, you shouldn't be a landlord just because you're moving. You think everybody has the temperament to be a landlord? Everybody that has ever moved from anywhere, or even like, and owned a house. Do you think when they sold the house, do you think, oh, why didn't they keep that and be a landlord? That's not for everybody. Let's see, a shame squirrel 2377. Financial advice or tips, please. Okay, maybe I have both. Long story short, too late. A friend and I started learning about credit cards and credit utilization 2020 March. I lost my job. Hello, Pandy. And I have a small source of income, and I got pregnant a month after losing my job. I had my baby January 2021 and just started becoming super dependent on my credit cards. Yeah, you see, that's why you never get them. Because then if you don't have them, you don't use them and get super dependent on them. See, you cannot trust humans with those. It too much. Most people cannot handle it, and most people will abuse it, and that's not good for their finances. So they shouldn't do it. And that's why the Ramsey advice is just one piece of advice, and it's for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're responsible or disciplined. None of that crap matters. One set of advice is good enough for everybody. Because even if you are smarter and disciplined and so forth, you can still be very well off financially by never having debt. You don't have to use debt to get ahead financially. So what was the got distracted. Started out with just one and they kept increasing my limit. Yeah, you know why? They want more interest from you. See, they're not giving you those credit cards. Hey, here, use our credit card. We're nice guys. We just want to let you use our credit card. No, they're trying to make money off of you. And so instead of you keeping your money, you're giving a lot of it to them in the form of interest. So that was pretty dumb. And you could have baby justified it. Oh, the baby needs that. How much crap did this lady buy for the baby that was not necessary? I bet a lot. Kept in, let's see, started using about $6K of that, and my friend, it was quickly raised to $10,000. Started using about $6K of that. My friend was like, open another for credit utilization. So then I did, all that's dumb. Don't do any of that. The financial advice is to do the freaking baby steps and no more debt ever, except perhaps a house that you live in. That's the only kind of debt Mr. Ramsey will not yell at you for. XR Joey, baby step 1. How long should it take for you to do baby step 1? Too many factors, bro. You can't write one line and 2 other words. and have it be anywhere near enough information where we can figure this stuff out. Joe, if you live paycheck to paycheck and make 15 an hour, that's probably not going to happen that fast. But again, it depends on, you're on baby step 1, so I don't know if you have consumer debt or not. I'm going to assume so because most people have that, and that's how they find out about Dave. So, yeah, no telling, because I don't know what your expenses are. Because you say you're living paycheck to paycheck, so that means you don't have any extra. And so, guess what? Guess where the money to fund baby step 1 comes from? Guess where the money comes from for paying off debt in step 2? It comes from the snowball amount, which is extra money. And when you live paycheck to paycheck, that means you don't have extra money. So what you're going to do is budget, and you cut out every single thing that is not 100% a necessity. And then perhaps it will get done faster. But I couldn't even begin to tell you without much more information. I couldn't even begin to tell you how long it should. And of course, I'm cutting out all of that non-essential stuff out of your budget. I'll be glad to help you with that. Because you might have a problem cutting it, but I don't. No author 7275. Get on with Dave. What up, Joy? How's it going? Joy to the chat. She's in the chat. I got my candle out here. I still didn't buy a plant yet. It is called Firewood Spice, and it is kind of making me feel Christmassy. I mean, it smells even without lighting it. Get on with Dave. So I'm wondering, why are you here? Yoda from Empire strikes back. So I'm wondering if any y'all had any luck getting on with Dave. I tried a few times and end up waiting for someone to answer for hours. I get it, he has a lot of people calling. Yep, it's a very popular show. Hey, guess what? Most people have money problems, so it can take a bit. For hours, but then it'll just end the call. Well, if you're listening to the show, I mean, you said hours. The live radio show, which is when you call, that lasts for 3 hours. So, and probably about at the 2 hour, 40-minute mark, they have enough callers to end the show. And so you probably have around that time, around 2 hours and 40 minutes of chance to get in. And so you want to call right before the radio show goes live, which is 2 p.m. Eastern time. So maybe like 1:50 Eastern time is when you want to call. So if you're calling later than that, you have less of a chance, obviously. Let's see. Anyone have any tips? Thanks for answering my question now. Oh, I don't know what the... So I edited it, so I don't know what the original question was, but let's say, so thanks for the answer. So great, got some answers. My question now is, once all bills and investments are funded, what's a good percentage to use as fund money? That's up to you. And if you're married with your wife, you guys compromise on an amount, and it doesn't have to be the same for both either. If you want to get through the baby steps faster, your fund money can be lower than what she wants. And so you just have to do that. But again, make sure you're not on baby step 2 or 3, because then you shouldn't be doing any investment. So you might be doing it wrong. So make sure of that. Make sure you read the baby steps and understand them, and don't just read the list and think, oh, I'll do all of these at the same time. That's a no. One at a time for steps 1, 2, and 3, and all at the same time for 4, 5, and 6. Saving for down payment is, of course, 3B. Joy tried for so long. She waited so long to call in, starting at the call in time for so many days slash weeks, just gave up. Yeah, it's difficult to get through. Now, I've also seen people in the chat earlier in the day and they said, I'm going to call, and they eventually were on. So that has happened. But yeah, it can be very difficult. Fortunately, Joy, you know somebody that has pretty much all the answers. I won't say that I know as much of them, but like as far as general baby step stuff, I got all that. Oh, yeah, okay, did that. Yep, now, no author 7275. What has Dave said about this? I tried looking and can't find Dave talking about this, all right? My wife and I are on track to be done with baby step 3 after March 2025. Try to get done faster. I am wondering, after that, how we budget for individual wants. For example, I love guns, but my wife doesn't care about them. So it's not something we both want. How would we go about that in a healthy way? Okay, all of the stuff that you're wondering about right now, this is what you and your wife talk about and compromise on. All right? And so, if she doesn't care about them, maybe she doesn't want you using your money, both of you, our money. She doesn't want you using that for a lot of guns. And so, see how many she's fine with, and you can haggle, and so it's whatever you agree with her on that. So whatever compromise you guys can reach on that. But keep in mind, you're not done at step 3, because you would be investing at that point. If you are investing now, you shouldn't be, because then that's why it's taking you so long to finish step 3. And so you shouldn't be doing that, because that's step 4. And remember what I just said, steps 1, 2, and 3 are one at a time in order. That means you do not do any other step except 1 first, and you don't start step 2 until that's done, and you don't start step 3 until that's done. And you don't start investing until step 4. If you are already investing, you stop investing while you get baby steps 1, 2, and 3 done. We have thrown out the idea of giving us, each of us, X amount each month. That is our own to do with what we want, but she says she doesn't really have anything she'd care to save up for, okay? She is a saver in the relationship. Haha. Any ideas? She is the type of... Okay. I would have opened this up. I didn't realize it was more. Not much more. Type of lady who would still be okay with me taking money each month and saving for my wants, but she wouldn't do it for herself, so I don't want to do that because that isn't fair. Right. So you can't make her spend money. So... if you still want to spend money, you have to be okay with her not doing it. And you want it to be her agreeing that, okay, you're not a saver, you want crap, once you get over, I'll give you 2 guns, all right? I'll give you 2 guns for self-defense, okay? But once you get over that, it's toys. And I'm assuming you're adults since you're married. And so those are toys. And so that takes a back seat to the investing and the saving for kid college if you have kids, and the paying off the house early. That should all be done before you get a 3rd gun, my friend. But yeah, it's whatever she will agree to. And it sounds like, she is fairly agreeable. And she's obviously does what, it also, you don't, and you can't help it if it happens, but she may say it's fine, but it's not really fine because she's not doing that. So why are you doing it? So, but it's her fault if she doesn't say that, because you need to say that and not just harbor resentment for that. But yeah, that's how you do that in anything. Any married couple has to talk about everything financial and compromise on a lot of stuff. Like one spouse may not 100% want to do the baby steps. And so you have to see, well, if we do this, and you pick and choose from it and do it ish or whatever, that may and most likely will probably make your situation better. Not as good as it could be if you followed the baby steps to the letter, but in a marriage, you have to compromise with your spouse. And so that takes precedence over the baby steps, and she would have to learn that. So there's not any guideline for doing that, except the guideline is to talk to her about all this stuff and compromise on it. And then if you guys can't get anywhere with it, then I don't know, maybe you see a counselor. If it's that difficult, maybe the two of you aren't bad people. Neither of you are bad people, but maybe you just don't know how to do that. And so the counselor can help you learn how to do that. This from I'm just here for tacos. Tacos sound good. Yummy. What would Dave do, or what would you do regarding layoff options? I would go with the Dave answer. Let's say apologies if this doesn't fit the theme, but I was curious what you would do in this situation. My company is calling for volunteers for layoffs ahead of deeper cuts. This year was rough for my company, and 2025 is looking even worse. We got the news that volunteers are needed to stem the flow of future layoffs, but it was not told to us how deep these involuntary layoffs will be. If we volunteer, we get a maximum of 6 months paid starting the day we're let go. A maximum. What's the minimum? You would have to know the minimum on that. This is anticipated to be from Thanksgiving to Christmas. If we don't volunteer, we go about our jobs as usual. Yeah, so, but basically, all right. I mean, that's great that they do that. Um, and they're trying to do that. I guess they think that's the best thing to do to try to keep the business afloat. It is not your responsibility to keep the business afloat. You're not a partner in the business. You just work there. And so that this in something like this is the best time to use that I just work here thing. And so, you do want there to be a job so you can keep working there, but it's not your responsibility to make sure that that's there. So you don't have to do that. Now, if it's like it's anticipated to be from Thanksgiving to Christmas, so basically it's just like around a month off or so, and then you'll go right back to work. But what's the maximum of 6 months paid starting the day we're let go? You mean 6 weeks? I don't understand that. Let's see what else. Um, bu- 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 bu. The severance here is not great. I believe it's 1 year worked equals 1 month paid. Okay. Now there's a chance I could survive the layoffs entirely by doing nothing. Okay. My logic: volunteers start applying for new jobs, work through December 31st, and get 6 months pay. Now, see, this is how people get in trouble, by just seeing what they want to see and focusing on one part of the information. You, sir, said we get a maximum of 6 months paid. You did not say we all get definitely 6 months paid. That's the maximum, sir. So either you phrased that incorrectly, or you're not considering that. You might not get the 6 months. So if you definitely get the 6 months, you don't say we get a maximum of 6 months paid. You say we get 6 months paid. So the answer does change depending on that. But either way, you can do whatever you want to. Say like this wasn't a volunteer situation or anything that wasn't involved. Your company just, you heard through the grapevine or whatever, or they even announced that layoffs might be possible. You can start looking for a job that minute if you want. But in this plan too, it would be fine, but you cannot just concentrate on the parts of this that you like and not concentrate on the parts that you don't like. You have to consider it all. Take the first job offer and double dip paychecks until the severance runs out in June. Again, if you get that much, sir. But my wife is furious that I would consider volunteering and cause it a lazy person's exit. Well, guess what you got to do about that? Now, do you think you're going to settle that by talking to people on the Reddit about it? You think? That's a negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. You have to talk to her about that. That's how marriages work. She think I ignore the call for volunteer, take the risk I could get in the involuntary layoff. Keep working and only leave when I get the new job. She also thinks there could be money for bonuses for those who remained. Anything's possible, but you have to talk to her about that. And again, you have to not just see the good parts in this plan that you have, which you have done. You focused on the good parts of it, and you made your little plan, and that's fine. And you can do whatever you want to, whether your wife likes it or not. And that's fine with me, but guess what? I am not trying to stay married to her. You might be. And so that's going to be different for you than it is for me. So yes, you communicate, compromise, and if you can't do that, counseling time. Joy out. She will check in with me in a day or two. All right. I like being checked in with. I like attention. You're shocked, though. You're shocked. I'm on YouTube. I know you're shocked. Probably everybody on YouTube likes attention, or they're at least, willing to put up with it if they make money or whatever. Long time I didn't make any, and not making much now. But I was happy to be doing it without making money, and so now making a little bit of money for it is fabulous, and it is growing. And it seems to be growing faster. I need some advice. I am 19, currently living in the bloody UK. I have a stable full-time job, and I'm earning 23,000 quid a year at the moment. But next month I will be going up to 30,000. They don't like to pronounce the T's. 30,000 English pounds a year. I'm currently on baby step number 1. It's like always a question. A 1. I have 700 pounds saved, and I will be debt free by 2025. But I have no idea where to start with buying a house and where that will fall into the baby steps. I'm glad you asked. And they really should put step B3 in there. I don't think that would make it that much untenable, but you start doing that, then you got to put in this baby step 0 stuff, and then you do that, and then you got to start explaining them all. And I am going to make a video on each baby step, including the missing ones, 0 and step 3B. I will be doing that. Event. only been promising that for about 3 years, the one on the missing ones. And then somebody did suggest, well, if you're doing that, you might as well do one on all of them. And I'm like, you right. Just to say the stuff that's not in the list, even, and the Ramsey list is there, and there's, people have a bunch of questions about it, and even if they don't have a bunch of questions about it, they read it, and then they do all kinds of stuff. It doesn't specifically say not to do, but you would think they wouldn't do. But anyway, so I will be making those videos. I'm currently on, I did that already, 700, debt free. No, I just, buy a house and where that will fall in baby steps. So that is 3B. So first you have your $1,000 emergency fund, or 1,000 bloody quid in the United States, or you can do 1,000 US dollars worth of over the pond, across the pond money. You can do that. Instead, you get that first while paying minimums on all debt. And see, that's not in there either. It doesn't say that either. It doesn't say where to get the extra money. Oh, you're cutting your budget, which budget is part of baby step 0. And see, so it all works together. Let's see. And so, yes, 3B. And so that means you have to not have your $1,000 done, obviously. And then pay off all your non-mortgage debt, which you don't have a mortgage, so that means pay off all your current debt first. And then you don't have any savings other than $1,000 until all of that debt's paid off. And then you grow that $1,000 into a 3 to 6 months emergency fund. If you're planning on buying a house, I do recommend the 6 months amount. And once you have that full 6-month emergency fund, then that is the time where you start saving for a house. MS front porch, or Ms. front porch. Let's see. Saving for a down payment. Again, that's step 3B. Let's see what the question is about it then. I'm working at saving for a down payment for my first home. I'm 26, single, and I am making around $100,000. $100,000. I feel like for me, I have a good income, but I'm having a hard time finding a house I can afford. Well, that means you're trying to buy too much house. That means you live in a high cost of living area and you don't make a high cost of living salary. Sounds like to me. Or you still have debt and you're paying that off. And you have to pay those payments on the debt. Or you're investing, which you shouldn't be doing if you have debt and not a full emergency fund. Let's see. I am trying to figure out my housing budget, and I know Dave says no more than 25% of your take-home pay. I currently have about 7% of my pay going to my work retirement account. See, that's a no for if you have, if you already have your full emergency fund and you don't have any consumer debt, then that you can start saving for the down payment. Let's see. But you're trying to find a house that you can afford, so that's more of your problem. Let's see. That doesn't ever hit my bank account. Okay. Should my take-home pay be before or after my retirement? It's after your retirement as well. Additionally, what are your thoughts on stepping back on investing? If you want to save a larger down payment faster, absolutely. You can do that for up to 2 years, is what Mr. Ramsey says you can do. Stepping back on investment while I finish saving for the down payment. Yeah, you can do that. And so just make sure you're not doing that on baby steps 1, 2, or 3. Make sure, and you're on baby step 3, so you finish step 3 first. And then as far as investing, you completely cut that out for 2 years if you want to save up a larger down payment faster. And that is how You can buy a house. It's still not going to be great, but that is how you can eventually get there if you live in a high cost of living area and do not make an appropriate salary for that area. MSCHMUT. All right. Emergency fund availability. I had an emergency the other day where I had to use my credit card until I'm able to get the money transferred from my emergency fund. This is why you need your emergency fund to be 100% liquid. If it's in a high yield savings account, that high yield savings account has to give you debit card or check writing privileges with that. And so you do not, if you're going to follow Dave's advice, you do not have a credit card even to be able to put stuff on. You do not have that. Let's see. I'm looking to see if the credit card was the best option. No, it's not. That's why Dave says, no, do not do that. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mr. Ramsey or heard him talk for 5 minutes, but he's the no debt guy, and credit cards are debt. Better / Ramsey way of doing it. Yeah, you have your emergency fund completely liquid. Like liquid hot magma. You don't have it somewhere. You don't have it like in the market. You don't have it in a high yield savings account that doesn't have a debit card or check writing privileges on it. You just don't. You know why? Guess what? Because we're not going to use credit as the answer. Not going to use the credit card as the answer. And emergencies don't wait 1 to 3 days for that transfer, do they? No, they don't. So that's why if you want to do it the Ramsey way and the better way, that's it. Took my dog to the vet and found out she needed emergency surgery. They needed $27.50 deposit. I put that amount on my credit card. The surgery went well, and we got to see the dog shortly after surgery, but had to come back later to pick her up. I wanted to settle up with them, and they said I had to pay the remaining $22.50 when before I take the dog home. $5,000 total. Pets are not cheap generally. I have the money in a Canadian TFSA tax-free savings account. Yeah, apparently you don't have debit card or check writing privileges for that, and so that's a nay, as the Australians would say. I talked to my financial advisor and requested they deposit $5,000 in my account, which normally takes a couple of days. That is why you do not put your emergency fund in there. Imagine that. I ended up covering the $5,000 with my mom's credit card, and that's not a good thing to do either. Using your mom's credit card is worse than using yours. Is there a better way I should have prepared for this? Yes, by having your emergency fund completely liquid. Figured that any emergency I ran into could wait a few days, but I could not wait here. What about emergency leads you to think you can wait a few days on an emergency? I think emergency, I don't think of anything that, oh, I'll be fine. It's an emergency, but I'll be fine for 2 or 3 days. I can't think of any. So that's a nay. 100% liquid. Revolutionary Pay 158 ESOP. At a previous employer, my retirement was an ESOP. I forget what that stands for. Upon leaving, they froze my ESOP account for 5 years, and then they will pay the account out. Okay. Once they pay the account out, it is up to me to invest the money in another vessel. All right, don't put it on the Titanic. I do not know where to begin. The amount is approximately $400,000 United States dollars. Where do I begin? As I do not want to just spend my retirement away when I receive the money. I will be 50 years old. Can someone point me in at least a starting direction? Yeah, you would invest it for retirement. So if you don't have any other retirement except that, that's your retirement, and you need to keep investing that and keep working. I would work another 10 years. Because in 10 years, you can, in 7 years, you can double that. Doubling it. Let's see. Real ad. 1811. What's your age, career, year? What does that mean? Year of, no. I don't know what that is. Income, COL. I have no idea, but people aren't going to give you all this information. 31 female, customer operations coordinator, 8 YOE, making 53K in an MZOL, Midwest city. Medium cost of living. Figured that one out. And the Midwest is how you get that medium or small cost of living city. Stay away from the coasts. I'm way far behind others, and I see many younger folks making 100K. What are you doing? If you'd like to talk about how you go into this career and had success, I think that would be helpful too. All right, well, we'll just figure out the rest of your life for you. You're welcome. Redsby Willie, or Reds by Willie. Purchased my first vehicle in cash yesterday. Excellent. First vehicle in cash or first vehicle total? We've been debt free for a couple of years now, and it has been life changing for how we view and manage our money. That's what it's supposed to do. Excellent. Over the past couple of years, we have been somewhat aggressive saving for a new vehicle. Okay. This is 100% a want, more than a need, and we stayed very firm on upgrading in cash and well within the general spend no more than 50% of your household income on things with motors. Okay, so that is not 50% of household income for each thing, meaning each thing can be 50%. No, that is the household income thing applies to the total of all of your vehicles. So don't make that mistake. So if your spouse has a car, that's included, baby cakes. Sorry about that. It's surreal pulling off the lot knowing that I 100% own a new to me vehicle. Okay, great. Not new, not brand new. Shouldn't buy a brand new car at all. You definitely don't buy any car on payments, pay cash. But new to me car, so used, fully outright, and owns it fully outright, and that's how you're supposed to do it. Obviously, most people are excited and proud when purchasing a new car, but I have a feeling I'll be driving this one for much longer and with more pride. I think I better pride, knowing that it was purchased outright from the start. Great. That's what you're supposed to do. Most people would say that's dumb. Yeah, most people are broke too. But I thought the community here might appreciate it. I do. If you're saving towards a new vehicle, stay the course. You can do it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But like the wants, that wouldn't be done. Like say, oh, I don't know, you got to make sure you're investing 15% of gross income at least, that you've begun addressing kids' college already, and that you were putting extra to the mortgage, that like your life didn't stop right after baby step 3 and then it was all saving for the vehicle. That's not how it's supposed to work, especially on a want vehicle. But almost all good news there, and maybe all good news, and I'm just thinking the worst of people because they often do the worst. Und poken ris, okay. Looking for college scholarships. I'm a senior in high school. I don't have any. There's none on the Reddit. I looked at FAFSA, but it says it's not open yet. Are there any resources I can use that give a list of scholarships to go to or anything like that? Please and thank you. Debt free, fabulous, and scholarships are the way to go. So instead of typing on Reddit /r/Dave Ramsey and typing the question in here, you type scholarships into the Google, and they will find you various resources for those. That's how the Google works. My dark habits lead to you. Should I pay off the house with all of my savings? Well, no. You should not touch the emergency fund. If you have extra savings that is beyond the emergency fund and beyond sinking funds for specific things, and you have extra savings on top of those, then you're doing it wrong, because you should not be debt leveraging your house to have all those savings. You're doing it wrong. You don't have a whole extra pile of money. You do not do that. You have your full emergency fund. And if you know you need tires, you do a sinking fund for tires. Anything else you want to do a sinking fund, it can be for a vacation, whatever you say it is, but there's no general, let's just save a pile of money fund and not pay off the house. That would be no, and that's a debt leverage. Let's see. Good morning. I've been debating on getting the house paid off and should have the full amount in saving by next spring. Okay, so this is not how you do that. You don't save the amount first, right? Save it. Taking a long time, months, years, until you have enough to pay it off. That is dumb. What you do is you put that money, instead of a savings account, you put that money on the house, and then you pay less interest on that amount immediately. How about that? I don't get it. I don't know why people don't understand that. Let's see. I mean, people just get in their way all the time with their little stuff. Oh, yeah, I'll just save that. It works the same way in the market as well. You do not save it in a freaking saving account, waiting till you have a lot of money and then put it in the market. No, you've missed all this growth while you've been saving. Dumb. Do not do that. Oh, let's see. Oh, 137K, currently 3.2 interest rate. I will be up to that amount in savings by May 2025. No, do not do that. Salary 120K base with 16% bonus yearly. So I should be able to build up my savings again pretty quickly. If that's emergency fund, that's a no. No other debts, and adding 15% in 401K. Currently I have a 6-month emergency fund and high yield. Okay, so that's not it. It depends. You're not making it clear whether this savings to pay off the house is part of that emergency fund or not. And the rest in brokerage fund. My question is, should I drain my accounts to pay off the house? Yes. Edit, no kids in the future, and we're 36 and spouse is 33. The ages don't matter, and whether you're having kids or not, don't matter. It's the same advice. Yes, you pay off the house before having extra savings other than the full emergency fund, and of course the 15% of gross into retirement. You do have that kind of saving while you're still paying off the house. All right, Chad's mama. All right. 3 debts let all the same balance. Well, lucky you. Guess what? If they are really all the same balances, I mean, if they're $1 off of each other, do the freaking baby steps the way it says, smallest to largest. But if they actually are down to the penny, the same amount, then you knock yourself out and pick whichever one you want to, okay? Brain says, student loan auto, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This kind of stuff is nutty, where people get into the weeds on that. You know, I mean, if you took the time to think about this stuff, just do it. If you understand that it's supposed to be from smallest to largest, and these are not exactly the same balances, or you think all of it, or maybe this person had a sudden idea about, oh, maybe the baby steps aren't the best advice. Maybe I should pay off the highest interest first. You know, I mean, and that's fine too, but then you don't have to, you can just do it without asking anybody about it if you think that's the best thing to do. It's not. Doing it that way there's no data on that as far as how well that works. We do have millions of documented success stories on the baby steps though. Supercod 4336, former Army 68X transitioning back to data. Is it timely data, or is it actionable data? That's what I want to know. Advice on federal roles. What? Hey guys, I'm looking. Oh, you mean type of jobs with the? I don't know what jobs are. Let's see. Make sure that's it. As I plan my next career steps, I tried a few different subreddits and figure there might be someone on this subreddit that is in one of those roles. I guess analytical lead and senior data analyst in the private sector. Okay, it's great. Sounds like you got the experience. So what the government would need for that? I'm sure they do need some. Data roles in federal agencies. IRS has a lot of data to process. Treasury and I'm sure they're hiring. I'm sure all of them are hiring. There's no end to government expansion. So for the structure, growth, and meaningful work, alrighty. It can be. But yeah, I don't know anything about that. Walt Grace 83. I teach high school, and it is always such an interesting perspective on finances. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm a baby step 7er, fabulous, and I teach high school. Today we're going to watch a video, and I brought up YouTube. Typically I have the video ready to go, but the link was broken. So I had to go to my homepage and type in the video manually. As I was typing in the video, students looked at my feed and commented on it. Of course they did. So if you don't want to comment, you definitely need to not have it open on your own page. Maybe you use a school account for that if you don't want them to comment. But, you know, kids are going to comment on it for sure. You know, oh, she likes kitten videos. And of course, you do the Ramsey stuff. But let's see. I can see where this is going, probably. Let's see. I was typing in the video. Students looked at my feed and commented on it. My feed was mostly finance videos. Mostly. They mostly come at night. Mostly. I need to add that soundbite to OBS. I have not done that yet. The Money Guy. There's two of them, but the show's called The Money Guy. Sports and music stations. Okay. One student noticed that 2 of my 8 top recommended were finance related, specifically related to retirement investing. The student says, do you have a problem with your finances? So, this is more fun than I thought it would be. Do you have a problem with your finances? So much so that you were watching videos about it? What an interesting comment. The student assumed that because I was looking at financial content, I must have a problem. Yeah, in reality, people that are learning more about finances are probably the least problematic. And the people that go through life without thinking about it and probably the most problematic. Yeah, but it's true though, because average person's not thinking about it enough, not being intentional with their money, and all of a sudden, you know, when they wake up, it's because they only wake up because they got a problem, they got so much debt. And then that's when they type in, oh, something about how can I pay off my debt? I got debt. How can I pay off my debt? And of course, Mr. Ramsey will probably be near the top of the search results. And so that's how people get there. But they don't think about it before that. You're generally not asking about it. You're just floating through life and not being intentional with your money until it's a problem. And then all of a sudden you think, well, maybe I'll be a little bit intentional. Let's see. Sometimes these raw comments from people just give me so many things to think about in terms of what most people are like and what they are absorbing from society. Just food for thought. Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. Oh, I don't know. It's Walt Grace. I don't know. Maybe a man. But yeah, that's how that works. So yeah, the best thing to do is Googling that stuff before you ever have a problem. And also, maybe they have Dave's high school curriculum in every single high school like they should. Jaru01. Any Dr. D calls where someone asks about a tween wanting to self-harm, suicidal thoughts. I would imagine, but I don't know. I don't listen to his particular show that much. So I haven't heard one on the Ramsey show that I recall. Not my kid, but someone in my circle. Would like to hear John's perspective on it. If it's out there. I mean, okay. I don't know what specifically you would want to his perspective on it. It's bad. And get that child into counseling and do something about it. Got to step in. Other than that, I don't know what specific advice he would have other than those. Combination boring, 220, 220, 221, whatever it takes. What would you do? Baby step 4, flare. I don't like to talk about my flare. My wife and I are completely out of debt and we have $25,000 in our emergency funds. We were working towards a house. However, my wife got accepted into dental school. I bet dental school takes a bite, no pun intended. The total cost for 4 years is going to be about $300,000. Well, maybe you don't go to dental school then, just because of the outrageous cost of it. And I have no way to pay for this without going into debt. Then the Ramsey advice would be there's no dental school then. Sorry, don't like it. Tough is the Ramsey advice. So you can go, you can try to see if there are scholarships for like that thing. Oh yeah, okay, let's see. I have 25K I can put towards it, and maybe she's lucky she can get another 50K in scholarships. Okay, it doesn't have to be paid for all at once, right? You can pay for it over, so that should only be what? I can do the math here. 4 years, it's it was an 8 something a year. No, 80 something. No, that's not right either. Gosh. So 4 years and 300K. So it was 400K, be 100K a year. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like 80K a year. 8 times 4 is 32, so less than that. So like 78, 77K. Like 77K a year, and then that would be equal to 300. And so yeah, so 25 and 50, that's 75. Okay, so that's where they were going with that. Yeah, so she'll have to be lucky and get the scholarships, or it's not happening under the Ramsey advice. I really do not want to go back into debt. You don't do that then. See what you say. You see here where you said, I really do not want to go back into debt. Guess how you get into debt? Only if you sign for it. If you do not sign for it, you do not go back into debt. So this is your choice. You don't have to or need to do this. This is your choice that you're making if you do that. And it's not advised. I just worked my ass off and sacrificed a ton so we could get out of it. But also a first year's dentist average salary in my area is $200K. Hey, guess what? Guess what, my friend? Also, guess what happens? Everybody doesn't graduate dental school. Guess what else happened? Let's read the rest of it. But guess what else happens? Sometimes females, men do a lot of dumb stuff too. Sometimes females sign up for a bunch of student loans to go to college for something, and then right about the time they get out of college, guess what? Baby. And I want to stay home with the baby. And they signed up for private student loans. Or private for student loans for a private college. So that doesn't work. So let's see, where were we? Sacrificed. Currently makes $45K and I make $80K a year. Also, it's something my wife has been working towards for a long time. Is she kept having to take breaks because we have 4 children. How long is dental school if she's already been doing it? Oh, and you already have the children. Okay. We're most likely going to loan out the money. You're not loaning out the money. All right. I mean, first, here's what we got to do. English. We're first most likely going to borrow the money is what you're saying. And that's not the advice. Not loan out. The bank is the one that loans it out. Or Sally Mae or whoever. But I wanted some options of people who follow the same financial advice as us. If you're thinking about debt at all, you're not following Mr. Ramsey's advice, sir. So again, that would be a no. Sorry, you don't get to do everything that you want. And this, this is where we're working towards a house that's completely gone. If you do this, that's gone for years and years and years. That's gone. So, let's see. Oh, and you can't count on that income because everybody does not graduate. But she's smart. I say even smart people do not graduate from the courses they are taking all the time. Singing advice, debt-free but uncertain future. I recently paid off a significant amount of debt, $20,000, which is a huge accomplishment. It's all huge. It's beautiful. However, my current salary is only $5,000, and I'm unsure of how long I'll be able to keep this job. $5K a month. I live in a third world country, so finding another high-paying job is challenging. My expenses, foreign country, so I'm fine. Not fine with the English here. My expense is around 1 to 1.5K a month. Now I'm faced with some major life decisions. I want to buy a house that costs between $100,000 and $160,000, which I think I could manage even if I lose my current job. Maybe. But it would be for so long, waited so long, and difficulty. Yes. Oh no, difficult. I made up the Y there. The parentheses got me. I thought it was a Y. I also need to budget for 10K wedding. Okay. This is what everybody does all the time. Let me finish the thing before I go off on my boy here. I think it's a man. Budget for a 10K wedding. Additionally, I'm considering starting a small business or investing in stock. I'm feeling overwhelmed and unsure of the best path forward. I wonder why that would be. Should I focus on saving and investing or prioritize the house and wedding? Any advice from those who have been in a similar situation would be greatly appreciated. I want to make the wisest financial choices to secure my future. Okay, so you don't have unlimited money. And guess what that means? The things you listed, guess what all those cost? Money. You got it, Bubba. So, you cannot do everything all at the same time. So, if you have multiple things you want to have happen, you decide which one you want the most and you take care of that one first and you do that one. And so, but basically, you paid off the debt. So the next thing would be to have your 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and you do that before you do any investing. You don't do any investing until you have that 3 to 6 months emergency fund saved. But I'm probably doing that. It doesn't say how old this person is either. Normally it's younger adults that are asking these kind of questions, but not always. And so it would just depend. So, but the wisest financial choices, the advice is to not try to do everything all at the same time. Budget for a 10K wedding. Is that your wedding? That's a lot. Depending on said you make 5K a month. I mean, maybe you can save for it with no problem for a year. But guess what? Then you're not doing anything else with that money. And you do need to have your full emergency fund before you start saving for that wedding. So get married cheaply. There's no need to wait until you can afford the kind of party you want to not be married yet. That's dumb. Get married. We have in the Estados Unidos here, we have a thing called the Justice of the Peace. That is where you go to the court building downtown and they will marry you there for very cheaply. And then once you're done doing all the stuff, once you're out of stuff that you want to do that's more important than having a late wedding party for whatever budget you set for it, then you can do that later. So, but you shouldn't let finances like this stop you from getting married if you're ready to get married. So, but yeah, there's too many things. It's like, I want to do this, this, and this. And then additionally, on top of all the other stuff, consider starting a small business. Most small businesses fail, so you got to be completely on your feet, at least in baby step 4. When you do that and you start the business, of course, all with cash, so no debt on that. And most people can't do that and also do all the other things you were talking about. Different Winder 4056 advice I can offer to my girlfriend. And you need to be back in the arms of a good friend. Oh, 'cause honey, believe me, I'd sure love to call you my girlfriend. Down, down, down. That's Matthew Sweet. Check him out. 90s. I, 28 man, adhere pretty strictly to the Ramsey principles. And they only have to say that when they aren't doing it correctly. That's code for I'm doing it wrong. And am in a good place financially. Well, that part's great. Fully funded emergency fund, 401k, working to pay off my mortgage by end of next year. Oh yeah, all that is fabulous. So what's the here? Where's the big butt? I like big butts and I cannot lie. My girlfriend, 26, however, has some debt, 15K total spread between a car loan for a vehicle that was totaled and a credit card. She's carried this debt for the last couple of years after making a string of poor choices, which she acknowledges as poor choices. Basically, she's sick and tired of being sick and tired, great, and wants to put this debt behind her. I have seen that despite the debt, she does live frugally. Oh, it's War and Peace. No, not that long. Quite that long. Frugally and below her means. Using that snowball, she could pay off her debt in a year since her income recently increased. Great. What's the problem? We talk about finances from time to time, as you should. So many things you should talk to girlfriends about. That way you see if you want to get married. You don't have a girlfriend and never talk about money and then get married and then bring it up 10 years into your marriage. That's not when you bring that up. My advice, you mention Dave on the first date. People think I'm kidding, but no. Because if she's not going to jive with you financially, why bother? Why bother? I mean, you can be friends, but why bother with trying to do anything else? If you're not going to jive financially. We talk about finance from time to time, and she looks to me for financial advice. I tend to be more savvy on this topic. Great. I, of course, have pointed her in the direction of Dave Ramsey. However, a lot of howevers. However, her mother, who has a history of running up debt, declaring bankruptcy, rinse and repeat, is pushing her to declare bankruptcy to erase her debts. I mean, that might be between her and a mama. Obviously, I find this to be a poor choice and have expressed this to her sincerely and delicately. Okay, great. I would consider her and I to have a real healthy relationship. However, so many howevers. You should change your username to however. What is it? Diligent Window 4056. Change it to however 4056. However, this is the one area that is of concern. On one hand, I feel her head and habits are in the right place to attack this debt. On the other hand, I need to actually see it happen. Well, I mean, does she have a tendency to do whatever mommy says to do? Does she do that? How would you handle this situation if you were me? You talk to her about it. Communication. Are there words of advice you would offer specifically about why to avoid bankruptcy? Yeah, because she signed on for the debt. And it was a stupid mistake. And if you pay for the stupid mistakes by paying it off, then maybe you won't make any more stupid mistakes. Happy to offer advice when asked so she can make her own informed decisions, but I do not want to blatantly tell her what to do. That's fine as well. Am I crazy for thinking that the way she handles this could really determine whether her and I are compatible for the long run? No, it's not. Because if she generally is frugal and stuff and she's already working to pay off her debt to get rid of it, and then, like I said, especially if she has a history of letting mommy run her life. And so, yeah, and so you want to know that, especially if it's the same as the Ramsey advice, and you say, this is what I would do, and coincidentally, and if you got money problems, or if you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. You can email me about said coaching or anything else on my channel. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney, excuse me. Alternatively to CashApp at $coachstevemoney. You can give me a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Alternatively, super chat on a live stream such as this or pre-recorded video is super thanks. You can do that as well. Upcoming streams, this exact show, answering your financial questions Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Hey, that means I'll be doing the same thing tomorrow on Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Ramsey Show After Show is another show I do, and that's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. The exact moment the Ramsey Show is done with YouTube, and the last hour of the show goes exclusively to their network app. I do also Ramsey Show replacement chat streams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at that same time, 5:25 p.m. And that's just a place to chat on, and I sometimes have content on that. Sometimes don't, but it's still a working stream, and it can be used for chatting. And that way also, people from other countries that can't download the Ramsey Network app, if they look for it, then they see the stream, then they have somewhere to go where they can get Ramsey advice. That is live. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you so much if you have done those things. And if you've watched me for even 1 second, thank you so much for that. So much other content out there. I am very humbled and thankful that you have watched me any. Thanks so very much. As always, make smart financial decisions every day.